Hello YouTube, my name is Voodoo Doll and I'm going to be showing you something from my Noir Grimoire. It is a demonic love spell. It's very simple and it's very cheap to do. The items that you are going to need are parchment paper or a paper bag. You're going to need 4 pieces or a bag that's big enough to put the 4 sigils on it. As you can see, I have my sigils here, so 4 pieces of paper like that. We'll get into that later. I apologize that my camera is so close to my work surface, but I could not get it further away. So you'll also need Play-Doh, which you can find at the dollar store. The dollar store is a witch's best friend. You will also need black candle. You're going to need a white candle. You're going to need blood. You can also use dragon's blood ink and just put a little of your blood into that. If you are a woman that does not have a period, you could prick your finger and put some blood into that. If you're a woman that does have a period, you would use your period blood. If you're a man, you would use your semen. You can mix your semen or your blood inside of this dragon blood ink. That way you don't have to use that much. Or you could just simply use your period blood if you are a woman that is still going through menses. You're also going to need a chicken heart. Very easy to find this. You can find this at the grocery store in your chicken section, gizzards and hearts. You're just going to need one of these little hearts. Now I have to warn you that all of my magic and anything that I do does include blood. There is not one ritual that I do that does not include blood and or animal parts ever. That's the type of magic that I practice. I also use demons. So if you are someone that is devoutly Christian or religious, this would not be the spell for you, because you would not be able to get into the mental mind frame to allow yourself to attract what you want into your life, because you would be scared. So thank you for watching the video, but you probably shouldn't attempt this. You would also need a key. Now these little keys might be a little hard to find. You can find them at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I found this at my local metaphysical shop and it was only 99 cents. So it's very cheap. So what you're going to begin by doing is you're going to look up the sigils for the 4 demons that you're going to use. Now I am using 4 demons. The demons that I'm using King Paimon, Astarte or Astarte, Dantalion, and Sitri. And the reason that I'm using these 4 beings is because they are all influencers of thoughts. They can all influence the mind, and the mind controls the heart. So you have King Paimon, who is devout and obedient to Lucifer. So King Paimon, he can make any man subject to the magician's will. He can control their thoughts. So if he can control their mind, you know, emotions are going to follow the mind. And for Paimon, his sigil is right here. I just want to move this. So for King Paimon, this would be his sigil right here. So what I've done is I have taken these pieces of parchment paper. This is just a paper bag. And I have in pencil drawn out Paimon's sigil. And then what I've done is I've gone over the sigil in blood. And just a regular paintbrush. I didn't use dragon's blood ink for this. This is just pure 100% blood. There's nothing in it other than blood. So I have traced this sigil in blood. I know you're going to do the same thing with the other sigils. Now this is Dantalion sigil. So Dantalion is a great duke. So he is the 71st spirit in the lesser key of Solomon. So it says that he knows the thoughts of all men and women and can change them to love. So that's why we're going to use him as well. And you heard me mention Astarte or Astarte. Astarte is the goddess of war and sexual love. Astarte is also known as a duke. So you have people that think that the being is female or male. It's really whatever you want to believe. I always call out to Astarte, the goddess of love. So this would be that sigil. Again, traced in blood. The middle had something in it, so that kind of bled through it, but that is what it would look like without the middle part. And then I also have Sitri. So Sitri is going to be the 12th spirit in the lesser key of Solomon. And it is said that he inflameth men and women with love. So men with women's love and women with men's love. And this is his sigil here. Sitri is a prince. So what you're doing when you are drawing these sigils and charging them, opening them basically, when you're just drawing them with pencil, you're just drawing them. There's nothing happening there. You want to focus your intention in it as well, but drawing the sigil itself is not magical. Opening the sigil and making it a door, kind of like a vortex, is what happens when you add the blood to it. It's almost like giving a sacrifice as well, because you're sacrificing some of yourself. You're giving your blood or your semen, if you be a man, to that entity, and kind of opening that door of communication between the two of them for them to come into your life and do your work. Now, when I charge and open my doors between myself and the beings, I am not commanding them. I'm not screaming or yelling. That's ridiculous. You wouldn't invite someone over to your house for dinner and then scream and yell at them and try to force them to do what you want them to do. It's a conversation. I'm offering you something, and I'd like to have a conversation with you and things that I would like for us to work on together. And after this ritual, I'm not banishing them or anything like that. I mean, you wouldn't kick someone out of your home after you called them in for dinner. So that really is up to the magician to be comfortable with working with these entities. That's why I say if you're deeply religious and steeped in dogma, you probably won't be able to complete this ritual. So while I am tracing this sigil in blood and opening this vortex and calling upon that entity, I'm thinking of what I want them to do. So I'm thinking of it as if it has already happened. So if I'm calling on Paimon, all of them are able to influence thoughts. I'm thinking in pictures, because your brain thinks in pictures. I'm thinking in pictures of the situation that I want. So I'm wanting in this particular ritual, this is a heart hardening ritual. And basically you're hardening the person's heart to anyone's love but your own, because you hold the key to their heart. So you're not causing them to hate people, you're just causing them to favor you. So you're removing any romantic love from their heart that they have from someone else and injecting your own self into their heart to where they only have love for you. So that is what you're thinking of when you're tracing this sigil. You are tracing it and thinking of how grand and great it would be for that person to only love you, and what that looks like, if that's them buying you gifts or long walks in the park, whatever it is, for you to be able to envision that and get into that state of mind of being and feeling like it's already happened. So you're going to imagine that when you're drawing these sigils. So the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to charge and assign your heart. And what that means is you would take one of your little chicken hearts, and basically what you're going to do is this represents your target's heart. So you're going to inject all of your thought, all of your might, everything that you can think of into this heart. This is this person's heart. This is person A's heart. And you want to be gentle with this heart. We don't want to hurt it. In this heart, I would put personal effects of my target. So it would be hair. If I had hair, I don't know if you would be able to harvest semen from someone, a condom or something like that. You could go ahead and put that on this heart as well and just really charge it with that person's energy. So this magic is messy. It's not for everyone. It does use bodily fluids and it does use animal parts. So you're going to assign this heart to that person. This is person A's heart, and this heart belongs to me. And you're going to put some personal effects in this heart. You can open the top of it and shove those personal effects within that vessel. So once you have that, you would then take your Play-Doh. Take your Play-Doh like this, and you would go ahead and put your heart in that Play-Doh, and you're going to wrap the Play-Doh around the heart. I'm not doing that, but that's what you would do. You'd wrap the Play-Doh around the heart, and then you're going to start trying to make a heart shape out of it. You may have to use quite a bit of Play-Doh. So you have the actual chicken heart with the personal effects within this, and then you're going to start shaping it into a heart. It does not have to be perfect. I mean, seriously. Just as long as you know what it is. I mean, honestly, you could even just, if you're very good at visualization, you can just put it in a ball and kind of flatten it so you can write on it, and that's good enough, because that's going to represent this person's heart. So what you're going to do is, after you have the heart encased in the Play-Doh, you are going to write your name on the heart. So whatever your name is, you're going to write your name, your birth name, on the heart. So this heart, person A's heart is inside of that. I have the person's name that wishes to own that heart on top of it, written, as you can see, etched in. And what that symbolizes and why we're using Play-Doh is because the thought is Play-Doh is soft, it's permeable, it's malleable. As this heart, this Play-Doh, starts to dry out, it's going to harden. And as it's hardening, it's keeping what's inside in and not letting anything out or in. So while this heart is still soft and malleable, and while it's still in this shape with the name freshly written on it, we are going to do a ritual to suck any romantic love that resides inside of this heart out of it for anyone but the person's name that's written on it. And we're going to inject love for that person within it. So while it's drying, it's sucking out and holding in. So eventually that Play-Doh will become rock hard, and it will be hardened to anybody or any other type of love other than the person that's within it and the person that holds the key. So when you have your heart encased in Play-Doh and you have the name written on it, let me just write something on here. I don't have my pen, so it's hard to write on here, but you get the visualization. This is your heart. Person's A's heart is inside of that, represented by the chicken heart. You write the name on it, and then in the middle of it, you're going to take your key, and you're going to stick your key in there. So that's your key. That represents you having the key to this person's heart. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your blood, whether it's just regular blood with nothing mixed in it, or if it is dragon's blood with some of your blood in it or semen in it, and you're going to take that and you're going to paint that heart in the blood. You're going to take this and just paint the heart in the blood, heavily painted in the blood. And you have your 2 candles. So you have your white candle, which is representing what you want to put inside of the heart, which is love, your love. And then you have your black candle, which is representative of what you want to take out. So black is removing, the white is putting in. So you would melt the bottom of this candle, go ahead and stick it on here and light it. And you see I have the mark from the other candle that I used in the actual ritual. I don't do anything without blood, like I said, so even though I have put blood on this heart, I would put a couple drops of blood on this candle, a drop or 2 of blood on this candle. And what I'm going to say is something to the effect, you can write your own, is this heart belongs to me. This heart will harden to anyone's love but me, for I hold the key. This heart will harden towards anyone's love but me, because it is I who holds the key. And what you're going to do is when you light your candles, you're going to just envision the black candle removing any romantic, non-platonic love that this person has in their heart or life. If you know the name of someone that may be in the way or competition, envision that person leaving this person's heart. As this is hardening, as this Play-Doh is hardening, it's getting harder and harder for anything to get in, except for what you put in there, which is yourself. So you're imagining any sexual or romantic love coming out of this heart and your love going into it, with it hardening and encapsulating only your love within it. And it takes a lot of visualization to do that. I would also say I would never do this ritual on someone that is married. Does someone that's married even deserve you? Make sure it's someone that deserves you. I don't feel like a married man is worth 2 cents, especially not going and buying all these ingredients and doing something like this is not worth it. Do it for someone that deserves you. You can also do this on an enemy. It's not going to cause love from an enemy, but if you're being bullied, or you have a boss at work that hates you, or a coworker at work that hates you, you can write your name upon their heart and they'll look upon you more favorably. Not lovingly, but favorably. That relationship will change. So you're going to let those 2 candles burn out, and you're going to leave this exposed to air. Now, if you have to hide something like this, I can understand putting the sigils, stacking them if you need to. If you're, pressed for space, putting all 4 of them on top of each other and then putting this somewhere and hiding it if you need to after the candles have burnt out is completely understandable. I live alone, so I left this out. I left it spread out with my 4 sigils exposed. I didn't put any more blood on them or anything. I just let it out. And then so every day, what I did, I lit 1 black candle, 1 white. Every day I tended to this heart. I didn't put any more blood on it. You could if you feel like that's what you need to do, but all I did was I took another white candle every single day for as many days as I felt, 7 days, and I put a drop of blood on it every day, and I just repeated that. This heart is hardening for it towards anyone other than me before, because I hold the key. So because you hold the key, this heart is hardening towards anyone but me because I hold the key. And just imagining all that non-platonic romantic love just sucking out of that heart. It's hardening, and only what you're putting into it is going to remain inside. And it takes about 7 days, I think, for this to get really, really hard. So for 7 days, you're just pushing this love and this energy inside of this heart. Only love resides inside of this heart, and that love is for you. And you can do this on any phase of the moon because you're removing and you're injecting. So it doesn't matter if it's waxing, if it's waning. I don't pay attention to planetary hours or days of the week. I'm simply just doing this. Any day of the month is going to work, any day. And I'm just injecting this with love. And I feel like any day is good. If you're worried about, oh, it's a waning moon, then maybe go ahead and light the black candle for 7 days and focus on removing any non-platonic love out of it for 7 days because it's waning and you're removing. So focus on removing for 7 days if you're that concerned about the phase of the moon. And if it's waxing, then focus on the white candle for 7 days and injecting that into it because it's growing. So it's really up to you and what you believe, and belief is the key to this, is the key to anything. Just doing these physical rituals is just a way to get our brain on the frequency that we need it to be to attract what we want into our lives from the non-physical. None of this matters. The shape of this doesn't matter. It doesn't matter even if you don't use a chicken heart, you don't want to. None of that matters. If you believe it, it will work. But this is just what has worked for me, and this is how I get myself on that frequency to attract what I want into my life. And this little heart, after it's completely dry, just keep it in, maybe a beautiful satin bag or something beautiful, because it is beautiful. I mean, this is the person's heart that you love, and you hold the key to it, and it only beats for you, and only you live within it. So you want to take care of it and wrap it in something beautiful and keep it in a nice place. And if this is packed correctly, you don't have to worry about smell coming through. Like nothing comes through. The heart is completely encapsulated in that, and even when it begins to break down, it's not going to seep through the Play-Doh. So it's actually quite perfect. So I hope that this gives you something in your arsenal in regards to love. It's a little bit of dark magic, but positive. I feel like people are so afraid of demons, but these beings existed long before Christ and were worshipped by people before they were killed and forced to follow Christ. So I feel like it's worth doing your own research and getting acquainted and seeing if this is something that works with you and your spirit. And I would love to hear your results. I am overwhelmed almost with my own ritual work and work for clients, but I would be willing to take on a few more clients, only if I feel like it's worthy. Like I said, I will not do this for you if you are wanting to capture a married man or you reveal that this person has beat you or something ridiculous. I don't care about the money. I would never want to attract that type of love in your life. So don't ask me to do that, please. But if you do want this ritual done for you, I feel like it's better to do it yourself because you have the energy. It's your love, it's your situation, it's your person. It's always better to do things yourself. But if you're uncomfortable and would like me to perform it for you, I will. I will leave my email address where you can contact me down below. And like I said, I would love to hear your results. Happy spelling. Thank you.